The untamed wilderness holds beauty and danger in equal measure, and few creatures embody this duality like the grizzly bear. With its sheer size, immense power, and unpredictable nature, encountering a grizzly is a moment that tests every nerve. Whether protecting its young, defending a kill, or simply startled, a grizzly's reaction can escalate into a life-threatening encounter in seconds. Understanding these apex predators is essential for anyone venturing into their domain. If you're fascinated by the raw power of nature and want to learn more about staying safe in the wild, subscribe to our channel for thrilling stories and expert insights. Story 1. On June 24, 2023, Emily Hart, a spirited 21-year-old from Helena, Montana, set off on what was supposed to be a weekend of serenity and adventure with her closest friends. Emily was a lover of nature, a hiker, and an amateur wildlife photographer who cherished Montana's rugged beauty. Her passion for the wild was rooted in her upbringing. Her father, a retired park ranger, had instilled in her a deep appreciation for the wilderness from a young age. Emily was also a fierce advocate for body positivity. At 450 pounds, she refused to let societal judgments shape her view of herself. She spent her life defying expectations, embracing her love for the outdoors, and proving that adventure was for everyone. Tragically, Emily's journey into the wilderness would end in a harrowing encounter with a grizzly bear that would claim her life, leaving her loved ones and community reeling. Her story serves as a solemn reminder of the importance of preparation, awareness, and respect for the unpredictable forces of nature. Growing up in Helena, Emily spent much of her childhood exploring Montana's rolling hills and sprawling forests. Her father, Robert Hart, often took her and her siblings on hikes, teaching them how to read animal tracks, identify edible plants, and navigate using only a compass. Emily's mother, Susan, fondly described her as fearless, recounting how Emily once climbed a 50-foot rock face at the age of 12, determined to see the view from the top. By her teenage years, Emily had developed a particular fascination with large mammals. Bears are misunderstood, she often said. They're not villains. They're just doing what they need to survive. This perspective drove her to volunteer with local wildlife organizations, where she helped educate the public on coexisting with wildlife. Despite her love for the outdoors, Emily was no stranger to its dangers. She carried bear spray on every hike and prided herself on knowing the safety protocols for encounters with wildlife. However, even the most experienced nature lovers can underestimate the complexities of the wild, a lesson Emily's story heartbreakingly illustrates. In early June 2023, Emily and 4 close friends, Rachel Carter, John Diaz, Amber Lewis, and Tyler Brooks, planned a 2-night camping trip to Lost Horse Creek, a picturesque area within Montana's Bitterroot National Forest. The group meticulously prepared for the journey, ensuring they had the necessary gear, including tents, cooking equipment, and safety essentials like bear spray and first aid kits. The campsite, nestled among towering pines and bordered by a babbling creek, seemed idyllic. However, recent reports from park rangers warned of increased bear activity in the area due to a poor berry harvest. Hunger had driven the bears closer to human-populated areas, making encounters more likely. The group arrived at their destination on June 24th, setting up camp and spending the day hiking nearby trails. Emily brought her camera, capturing images of wildflowers, birds, and distant snow-capped peaks. As the sun set, they gathered around a campfire, sharing stories and toasting marshmallows. The peaceful evening gave no hint of the tragedy that lay ahead. In the early hours of June 25th, around 1:30 a.m., chaos erupted. Emily awoke to the sound of rustling and heavy breathing outside her tent. Before she could process what was happening, the grizzly bear tore into the campsite, drawn by the scent of food. Despite the group's efforts to store most of their supplies in bear-resistant canisters, one cooler containing leftover food had been accidentally left out, a fatal oversight. The bear, a massive male estimated to weigh over 700 pounds, began rummaging through the cooler, scattering its contents. The noise woke the entire group. Panicked, they shouted and banged pots in an attempt to scare the animal away, but the bear was undeterred. In a terrifying turn, the grizzly shifted its focus to Emily's tent. Within seconds, it ripped through the fabric and dragged her out by the leg. Her friend screamed and deployed bear spray, creating a temporary barrier, but the bear, driven by hunger, remained aggressive. Emily fought valiantly, kicking and yelling as the bear dragged her into the forest. Tyler, armed with a flare gun, fired into the air, hoping to frighten the animal. Although the bear eventually retreated deeper into the woods, it was too late. By the time emergency responders arrived, delayed by the campsite's remote location, Emily had succumbed to her injuries. The news of Emily's death sent shockwaves through the Bitterroot Valley and beyond. Local wildlife officials launched an immediate investigation, tracking and euthanizing the bear responsible for the attack. The decision, while necessary for public safety, was met with mixed reactions. "It's always a last resort," said Ranger Mike Calloway, who led the operation. "But once a bear associates humans with food, it becomes a danger to every camper and hiker in the area." Emily's family, while grieving, chose to focus on raising awareness about bear safety. Emily loved the wild, and she knew its risks, her mother said in a statement. She would want her story to remind others to respect nature and take every precaution. Several factors contributed to the tragedy, painting a complex picture of human error and natural behavior. Food storage oversight. The group's failure to secure a single cooler provided the bear with an incentive to approach the campsite. Even small mistakes can have catastrophic consequences in bear country. Increased bear activity. The grizzly's aggression was likely heightened by the scarcity of natural food sources, a recurring issue during poor berry seasons. Remote location. While the campsite's isolation offered tranquility, it also delayed the arrival of emergency responders, underscoring the risks of venturing far from help. Underestimating danger. Although experienced, the group may have underestimated the heightened risk posed by recent bear activity, evident in the warnings they had overlooked. Emily's death is a sobering reminder of the delicate balance between enjoying nature and respecting its dangers. Experts stress the importance of adhering to strict safety protocols when traveling in bear habitats. Key recommendations include proper food storage. Always use bear-resistant canisters and ensure that all food, trash, and scented items are securely stored. Double-check your campsite before nightfall. Awareness of wildlife activity. Stay informed about recent animal behavior in the area. If there are warnings about increased bear activity, reconsider camping plans. Multiple defense tools. Carry more than one method of deterring bears, such as bear spray, flares, or air horns. Avoid remote areas alone. While solitude can be tempting, it significantly increases risk. Traveling in groups and choosing campsites closer to ranger stations can improve safety. Story 2. Story 2. Nature is breathtakingly beautiful, but can also be unforgiving. When venturing into the wilderness, we often underestimate the potential dangers lurking in the shadows. For Maria Benson, a 31-year-old woman from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a routine day hike turned into a harrowing fight for her life. Weighing 450 pounds, Maria was well aware of the physical challenges she faced, but she never let her size deter her love for the outdoors. On a summer day in 2023, she came face to face with a black bear, a predator smaller than a grizzly but no less dangerous in close encounters. What followed was a battle for survival, filled with lessons on resilience, determination, and respect for the wild. This is Maria's story, a gripping account that provides not only inspiration, but also practical advice for anyone who ventures into bear country. Maria Benson had always found peace in the outdoors. Growing up in Asheville, North Carolina, she spent her childhood exploring the trails of the Blue Ridge Parkway with her family. Her love for nature deepened as she grew older, becoming her refuge in times of stress. Maria's weight was something she had struggled with most of her life, but she refused to let it define her. Hiking became her way of pushing boundaries and proving to herself and others that she was capable of great things. By 2023, Maria had made it her goal to hike every major trail within the Pisgah National Forest. On July 15th of that year, she set out to explore a lesser-known route called Hemlock Ridge, a moderate trail known for its dense woods and occasional wildlife sightings. Armed with a backpack containing water, snacks, a first aid kit, and bear spray, Maria felt prepared for another peaceful adventure. Section 2. A routine hike turns dangerous. The trail was serene that morning, the air filled with the earthy aroma of moss and pine. Maria took her time, stopping frequently to photograph wildflowers and admire the forest canopy above. She felt a deep sense of accomplishment as she neared the midpoint of the hike, enjoying the solitude and serenity. However, her peaceful trek was soon interrupted. As Maria rounded a bend in the trail, she heard a rustling in the underbrush. At first, she thought it might be a deer, but as she stopped to investigate, a large black bear emerged from the shadows, its dark eyes locking onto hers. Black bears are typically shy, often avoiding humans, but this one seemed different, bolder, perhaps hungry, and unwilling to retreat. Maria's heart pounded as she remembered the advice she had read countless times. Don't panic. Don't run. Speak calmly and back away slowly. Easy now, Maria said, her voice trembling. She raised her arms to make herself appear larger, gripping her trekking pole in one hand. The bear, however, took a step closer, its nose twitching as it sniffed the air. Maria tried to back away, but the bear advanced, moving with startling speed. In an instant, it lunged at her, its powerful claws raking across her leg and knocking her to the ground. Maria screamed, the sound echoing through the forest as she tried to shield herself from the bear's blows. The bear's weight pinned her down, and its claws tore at her backpack, scattering her belongings across the trail. Maria fought back with everything she had, using her trekking pole to jab at the bear's face. The animal snarled, but didn't relent, its jaws snapping dangerously close to her arm. Desperate, Maria reached for her bear spray, which had fallen just out of reach. Using her uninjured leg, she kicked at the bear's chest, creating a brief opening. She grabbed the canister and unleashed a powerful blast of spray directly into the bear's face. The effect was immediate. The bear recoiled, coughing and shaking its head as it retreated a few steps. But instead of fleeing entirely, it circled back, its movements slower but no less threatening. Maria knew she couldn't afford to wait for another attack. Maria's injuries made movement difficult, but her determination kept her going. She grabbed a large stick and used it as a crutch to pull herself up. Blood seeped through her pants, staining the ground, but she forced herself to move. The bear watched her from a distance, seemingly undecided whether to pursue. Maria yelled, waving the stick and making as much noise as she could. To her relief, the bear eventually turned and disappeared into the forest. But Maria's ordeal was far from over. The attack had left her with a deep gash on her thigh and scratches across her arms. Her phone, damaged during the scuffle, was useless. She was miles from the trailhead, with no way to call for help. Maria used her first aid kit to clean and bandage her wounds as best she could. She fashioned a makeshift crutch from a sturdy branch and began the slow, agonizing trek back to the trailhead. Every step was a test of endurance, her body protesting against the pain and exhaustion. Hours later, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Maria finally emerged from the trail. A group of hikers spotted her near the parking lot and immediately called 911. Emergency responders arrived within minutes, stabilizing her injuries and transporting her to a nearby hospital. Maria underwent surgery to repair the damage to her leg and spent weeks recovering. The physical scars served as a reminder of the attack, but the experience left a deeper emotional mark. Despite the trauma, Maria refused to let the encounter deter her love for the outdoors. Maria's close call with the black bear taught her invaluable lessons about wilderness safety and personal resilience. She now shares her story with others, hoping to inspire and educate fellow outdoor enthusiasts. "I never thought something like this could happen to me," Maria said in an interview. "But I've learned that the wilderness is unpredictable, and preparation can make all the difference." Carry bear spray and know how to use it. Bear spray is one of the most effective tools for deterring an aggressive bear. Practice deploying it before heading into bear country. 1. Stay alert. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Avoid using headphones or becoming too absorbed in your thoughts while hiking. 2. Travel in groups. Bears are less likely to approach a group of people. If possible, hike with others to reduce the risk of an encounter. 3. Make noise. Black bears are usually shy and will avoid humans if they hear you coming. Clap, talk loudly, or attach a bear bell to your backpack. 4. Know your limits. Maria's resilience was remarkable, but proper preparation and fitness can improve your chances of survival in a wilderness emergency. Maria Benson's story is a powerful reminder of the unpredictable beauty and danger of the wilderness. Her courage and determination in the face of a life-threatening situation highlight the strength we all possess, even when the odds seem insurmountable. The wild is a place of wonder, but it demands respect. By learning from Maria's experience and taking the necessary precautions, we can enjoy its beauty while staying safe. Her story serves as both a cautionary tale and a source of inspiration, proving that even in the darkest moments, survival is possible. Story 3. The wilderness, with its unspoiled beauty and raw power, has always held a magnetic allure for those seeking solace and adventure. Yet, for all its grandeur, it is a domain governed by nature's laws, where humans are visitors, not masters. This reality came into sharp focus on September 3, 2023, when Sarah Peterson, a 420-pound outdoor enthusiast from Helena, Montana, tragically lost her life during an encounter with a grizzly bear. Sarah's story is one of admiration for the natural world, a passion for exploring, and a tragic reminder of the risks inherent in venturing into bear country. This article seeks not only to tell her story, but also to provide readers with valuable lessons on wilderness safety and respect for wildlife. Sarah Peterson, 34, had always felt a deep connection to the outdoors. Growing up in Montana, she was no stranger to the rugged beauty of the Rocky Mountains. Despite facing challenges related to her weight, Sarah embraced hiking as a way to stay active and immerse herself in nature's tranquility. "I've never let my size stop me from doing what I love," she once wrote in a blog post chronicling her outdoor adventures. For Sarah, hiking wasn't about speed or distance, but about the peace she found on the trail and the joy of exploring the wilderness. On September 3, 2023, Sarah decided to hike the Beaver Creek Trail in Montana's Flathead National Forest. Known for its dense forests, meandering streams, and abundant wildlife, the trail was a favorite among local hikers. Sarah was familiar with the area and had taken precautions, including carrying bear spray, packing a first aid kit, and informing a friend of her plans. The morning was crisp and clear as Sarah began her hike. She moved at her usual steady pace, stopping to photograph wildflowers and enjoy the sounds of the forest. By early afternoon, she had reached a secluded area near the creek, where she decided to take a break. As Sarah rested, she heard a rustling sound in the underbrush. At first, she assumed it was a deer or another common animal. But when the rustling grew louder, she became alert. Moments later, a massive grizzly bear emerged from the trees. The bear, estimating to weigh over 600 pounds, appeared agitated. Wildlife experts later speculated that the animal may have been guarding a food source or felt threatened by Sarah's presence. Grizzly bears are known for their territorial behavior, particularly in late summer and early fall when they are preparing for hibernation. Sarah's first reaction was to remain calm, as she had been taught in wilderness safety courses. She slowly stood up, raised her arms to appear larger, and spoke in a steady voice to signal that she was not a threat. But despite her efforts, the bear charged. The speed and power of the grizzly were overwhelming. Within seconds, it reached Sarah, knocking her to the ground. Despite the chaos, Sarah fought back, using her bear spray to create a cloud of deterrent. The spray temporarily disoriented the bear, but it returned moments later, more aggressive than before. Tragically, Sarah's injuries from the initial attack left her unable to escape. The bear's strength and persistence proved too much. By the time other hikers arrived in the area, drawn by the commotion, it was too late. Emergency responders later confirmed that Sarah had succumbed to her injuries before help could reach her. News of Sarah's death sent shockwaves through the Helena community and beyond. Friends and family remembered her as a kind and determined woman who lived life on her own terms. She had a spirit that couldn't be tamed, said her brother, Michael Peterson, during a memorial service. She loved nature, and she loved sharing that passion with others. Sarah's story also sparked conversations about wilderness safety and the importance of understanding bear behavior. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks issued a statement urging hikers to take extra precautions when venturing into bear country, particularly during peak activity seasons. Sarah Peterson's life was one of courage, passion, and a deep love for the natural world. Her tragic encounter with a grizzly bear serves as a sobering reminder of the risks that come with exploring the wilderness. Yet, her story also highlights the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of learning from our experiences. For those who share Sarah's love of the outdoors, her legacy is a call to adventure, but also a call to prepare, respect, and remain vigilant. The wilderness is a place of wonder, but it is also a place of power. By embracing both its beauty and its challenges, we can honor Sarah's memory and ensure that her story continues to inspire. This article combines storytelling with practical advice, respecting both the subject and the readers. If you'd like further adjustments or expansions, let me know. If you found this video insightful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for the latest videos on wildlife safety, survival tips, and fascinating animal stories. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.